Hey, welcome back. So, you probably take a walk after you eat, right? Well, what if I told you we could turn that simple walk into a legit metabolic powerhouse? Today, we're going to build the perfect, science-backed post-meal walk, one that helps you control your blood sugar and start burning more fat. So let's get right into it. A post-meal walk. It's good, right? Of course it is. But is your walk great? I mean, is it really doing everything it could be doing for your metabolic health? Because with just a couple of small changes, we can take it from good to absolutely amazing. And here's the best part. It's not about walking for hours or breaking a crazy sweat. It's not about working harder, it's about working smarter. See, it's not just that you walk, it's about how you walk. And there's a simple, science-backed blueprint for it all. And this is it. This is the blueprint. It really boils down to three simple but super powerful things: what you ate, your meal; when you go, the timing; and how fast you go, the pace. Get these three things dialed in and you unlock this whole other level of metabolic benefits. So that's our game plan. First, we're going to talk about the meal itself. Then we'll get into what's probably the most important part, the timing. And finally, we'll figure out that perfect pace to control glucose and burn fat. Ready? Let's jump into part one. Okay, part one. Prepare your meal. Now, you might think this whole thing starts when you lace up your sneakers, right? But actually, the optimization begins before you even take your first step. It starts on your plate. It's all about setting the stage for success with the food you eat. So there are two really cool ideas at play here. First is something called chrononutrition. Fancy word, simple concept. Eat in sync with your body's clock. Your body just handles glucose better earlier in the day, what we call the biological morning. So having your biggest meal then is a huge win. And the second trick? It's all about the order you eat your food. Seriously, just eat your protein, your fats, and your fiber before you touch the carbs. It's a game changer for slowing down that glucose rush. And that's really the key here, the sequencing. Like this quote says, you're not cutting anything out, you're not restricting yourself, you're just changing the order. It's such a simple little hack, but it immediately starts to flatten that glucose spike, which means your body has less work to do later. Okay, so you've prepped your meal perfectly. Awesome. Now we're moving on to part two, and honestly, this might be the most important piece of the entire puzzle: the timing. You've put your fork down. When does the clock start? When do you actually head out the door? The science here is super clear. So the second you finish that last bite, a timer starts. And you can see on this timeline, there's a real sweet spot. Yeah, you could wait 45 minutes or an hour. That's better than nothing for sure. But it's not where the magic happens. The real benefit, the real optimization, happens way earlier. And here it is, the magic window, 10 to 30 minutes. That's it. You want to start your walk somewhere in that 10 to 30-minute window after you finish your meal. Why? Because you're literally meeting the glucose at the door. You're using that incoming energy to fuel your muscles right away instead of letting it flood your bloodstream and cause a big spike. But I know what you're thinking. I don't have time for a long walk after every meal. And that's totally fair. That's where this brilliant idea of exercise snacks comes in. Think of it like this. Even a quick 10 or 15-minute walk, if you do it in that crucial 10 to 30-minute window, is still ridiculously effective at knocking down that glucose rise. No excuses. All right, we've got the meal down. We've got the timing locked in. Now for the final piece of our optimization puzzle, the pace. And this is another place where it's not about going harder. It's not a race. It's about finding that perfect intensity that lets you do two things at once: control your glucose and burn a ton of fat. And that perfect pace? It's a moderate intensity. That's the goal. Think of it as the sweet spot where your muscles are just soaking up all that glucose from your meal for fuel, but you're not pushing so hard that your body gets stressed out and starts doing weird things. Moderate can be kind of vague, I get it. So let's put some real numbers on it. The research used a 75-year-old as an example, which is super helpful. For them, moderate meant a heart rate between 93 and 109 beats per minute, and a pace, a cadence, of about 100 to 110 steps per minute. Now, those are real, tangible numbers you can actually track and aim for. And this chart right here shows you why that moderate pace is so golden. See that first bar? At a moderate pace, you're in the fat max zone. Your body is just torching fat for fuel. But look at the second bar. When you ramp up to a high-intensity sprint, your body completely flips the script. It stops burning fat and starts burning carbs instead. Kind of defeats the purpose, right?
So this always leads to the big question, right? But wait, what about sprints? Isn't high intensity always better? And it's a totally logical question to ask. But when it comes to this very specific goal, controlling that post-meal glucose, the answer is, well, it's kind of surprising.
Yeah, check this out. It's what we can call the sprint paradox. Your nice, steady, moderate pace, perfect. It lowers glucose, it burns fat. But if you go out and start ripping high-intensity sprints right after you eat, it can actually make things worse. That crazy effort can signal your liver to dump even more glucose into your blood. It's the exact opposite of what you're trying to do. So what's the takeaway? It's simple. Sprints are great. High intensity is awesome for fitness, but it's all about placement. If your goal right now is to manage your blood sugar after a meal, just save those sprints for the very end of your walk. Or even better, do them in a completely different workout. Don't mix them in at the beginning. Whew, okay. We covered a ton, right? We talked about the meal, we nailed down the timing, we found the perfect pace. So now, let's put it all together. Let's build the cheat sheet for your perfect post-meal walk. And here it is, your optimization checklist. Super simple. For your meal, eat your protein, fat, and fiber first. For timing, get moving 10 to 30 minutes after you're done eating. For your pace, aim for that moderate heart rate, that 100 to 110 steps per minute. Keep it going for 15, maybe 30 minutes. And if you really want to do sprints, tack them on at the end. That's it. That's the whole playbook. Look, it's a really simple framework, but don't let that fool you. It is incredibly powerful. You're not just going for a walk anymore. You're giving your body a precise metabolic tune-up every time you eat. So, you ready to go transform your next walk?